What's going on? It's your boy Marciano, the hostess with the mostest. I don't even know. It works. We are back with episode 002, the Meeting of Minds podcast. With so much love, so much appreciation. Got a lot of messages on the first episode. So very happy to have had that opportunity to share that with you, and that it made me feel like, okay, you're doing the right thing in the right direction. Let's push this. I think after everybody's feedback and comments, I think I'm going to start with an every 2 week kind of thing. Let's see how it goes. That's the goal right now. If it gets crazy, then I'm definitely going to do a weekly. Just before we get into the show, I just wanted you to take a look if you are a YouTube user and really trying to push and build. If you go to tubebuddy.com/Marciano, have a look at what they offer. It's an amazing company. They have such great stuff that really helps you with productivity. They take care of everything for you. You basically sign up with them at tubebuddy.com/Marciano, and they help with bulk processing if you're doing a lot of videos. They help with video SEO. They help with promotion, even skill for Alexa, which is really cool. So definitely check them out if you're a social media warrior and you're working heavily with YouTube. They definitely can make a difference. Now, pushing on, we are at episode 002 with a good friend of mine, Anthony Durbano, creator of Front Right. Definitely a fun person to have a conversation with, a lot of energy, and definitely has a nice insight on the evolution of promotion and throws parties, amazing stuff here. So I'm really excited for you to dive into the show. I won't give too much more info. I'll let you listen and enjoy. What is popping, everybody? We're back with another Meeting of Minds podcast, number 002, with a very special guest, Mr. Anthony Durbano. He is the owner and founder of Front Right, which is a Montreal dance community, and then turned into a profound promoter in the scene, bringing in some of the hottest DJs, including, and not limited to, Local Dice, Sebastian Leger, Hosh, Leighton Jordani, Drumcell, and so many more. Let's welcome my boy, Anthony Durbano.
Hey.
What's poppin', man?
I'm good, man. I'm very good.
Yeah? You look relaxed.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Did you have a good meal or some shit? You look very chill.
I had a very nice vegan meal.
All right, so for the people that don't know you, let's give a bit of a background of how you started in this and how you created Front Right.
Okay. Well, basically, when I was in university, I was heavily involved in the student association, used to throw events for the John Molson School of Business. That's kind of where I figured out that my passion was throwing events and connecting people, really like crowds, really like, that kind of energy.
The community vibe.
Yeah. Like, being part of something was always important for me. When I was in CEGEP, I played varsity sports. When I was in high school, I was part of the variety show, and I was part of the school dances, the committee, all kinds of different things. Finishing up university, being involved in all these student associations, I was ready to find, my next thing. People were making fun of me, telling me, you're gonna be so bored when you finish university. You're gonna have nothing to do.
Right.
So I set a goal for myself. At the time, electronic music was kind of booming. It was like the thing. And I set a goal for myself that I was going to be known. I was going to be an ambassador for electronic dance music in Montreal.
Very cool.
Overall. So that meant that if somebody was going to a dubstep show, a trance show, a techno show, and they had a question, they wanted to buy a ticket, they wanted more information, they knew that they could reach out to me, and whether I had a direct link to what they needed or not, I was able to assist them in some way.
Yeah. Like a connector.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that
cool.
was my first goal, and I set that goal when I was in university. Started working with this promoter, Amir Kuba, who was heavily involved with stereo at the time, and ran the Electronic Music Association at Concordia. Got me in selling hard copy tickets at New City Gas. as a sub promoter. Started to get a lot of people involved. I was very involved in other schools as well, other school affairs as well. Partied at McGill, partied at HSA. So my network was pretty large. Sold hard copy tickets to these people, brought them to the shows, and then overall, what I was noticing is that it was difficult to have a good time when I was spending so much time meeting and saying hi to all the people I was selling hard copy tickets to, and the vibe itself wasn't what it needed to be on the dance floor, because I noticed that everyone knew me, but they didn't necessarily know each other.
Right.
So people would ask me, oh, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? So I'd tell them, oh, go to the front right. That's where I'll be dancing.
Like home base.
Exactly. Like
Okay.
the section, the little nook. At New City Gas, there was actually like a nook by the VIP stairs. So it was actually like a little area where you could be all the way at the front, but still not be squashed and have some space to move.
Yeah.
And so we took that space, and one night, it was March 9th or March 10th, 2013. It was Adventure Club. I was partying there, and I had this moment where I realized I wasn't having a good night, not my vibe, feeling kind of off. I had some stress
Energy
or
and
whatever.
shit, yeah.
So it wasn't working out, and so I had the idea. I said, "Oh my God, I'm looking around. Everyone needs to know each other. How can I do that?" So I came up with the idea that evening. I remember because I wrote like a biblical text message to my friend who was standing 20 feet away from me backstage.
Right.
And I just told him, like, this is my idea. I'm going to start a Facebook group. I'm going to call it Front Right. I'm going to add, right now I added 7 people. The first 7 people were like the 7 people that I partied with the most. The core of my rave fam, let's say, or my dance community. And I told him, meet new people. When you see like a cute girl on the dance floor, invite her to the group. If you see a guy that's like, killing it with his shuffle moves, or, it's just general good energy. Invite them to the community where you guys could share and be part of the same, vibe. And so I started it, and slowly but surely I kept the group private, organic growth, very much word of mouth. I did a lot of like, I had like a pilgrimage period where I was just like,
recruiting,
going to events and just like seeing people that I like their energy, going up to them, hey, what's your name? Like, you need to find out about this community. And that was the most exciting time in my life, probably, because I remember I went to Ballon Blanc and went home, and there was 120 more people in the group.
Right.
So those were fresh, right people excited in the movement, and slowly but surely it turned into more and more, and the group started to build up momentum. And what I think would be the natural reason why the group went from, let's say, being a little bit more broad to underground was simply because I would actually have hard copy tickets for Stereo sometimes, or Circus sometimes.
Right.
And I would invite people to go to an after party after New City Gas.
Right.
And so the people that I started to associate with were into those after parties. And I think just the maturity of the people in the scene, after a couple of years, you start to develop more, refined tastes and different styles of music. So naturally, the group became a little bit more underground, and now we're at, I think, about 6,500 members,
That's
5 years,
amazing.
6 years down the road. So
it's already been about 6 years?
It'll be 6 years in March since the group started.
Wow, that's a really cool story. And it was I knew a little bits about it, but now hearing it in its complex like that, it's a really great thing to see come alive, man. Like, you started with 7, now you're at 6,000, you're almost at 7,000. Like, it's crazy. But that is cool, because if you look at it, let's say if you were calling yourself, even though if you were creating a group or whatever, a promoter, how has it changed even in the short time of 7 years?
How has the group changed?
No, the evolution of promotion, how you saw it from 7 years ago till today.
Back then, my goal was more to connect people with specific events, to open people's minds up to new things. I still definitely try to do that as much as possible. But now, because basically 2 or 3 years into the community project, where the project was very focused on just the community, on bringing people together, I launched the promotion aspect where I would start throwing events for that community, so that the people in the community can meet up with other people and it could tighten the bond. And then I could help bring the artists that they're asking for and kind of be this utopian people's service. Where I'm offering, you know, what the people want, when they want it, how they want it, by listening to their needs through this group. And so that's kind of where things shifted, because it went from me promoting other people's stuff to focusing more internally on the production aspect, on bringing, you know, artists, or bringing concepts, or trying to innovate the way we do things. Or for instance, an innovative project that we had at one point was Waterfront, which is a project that I had with No Bass No Fun and Husa Sounds, which was like this Sunday night terrace party. And just the idea of being able to party outside on a Sunday night after picnic was something that was really special for people, you know? So sometimes it's just finding the right special edge that's going to excite people and get them to go out and have some fun.
And do you think, like, even parties have changed, like styles of parties? Because I feel like, looking through the scene over the years, there's been the club vibe, there's been the after hour, there's been the house parties, there's been like the rentals of spots.
I think as time goes on, the underground kind of music becomes more accessible to the masses.
Right.
People are more into it, younger. It's happening more in clubs rather than only in after hours. If you look at like trance or progressive house, but more, I'm talking about more like the commercial progressive house stuff. That stuff really only lived at Circus before New City Gas opened. And so from 2010 to 2018, there's been a shift from electronic music being underground to being more mainstream overall, but also where it's being held and at what times it's being held has created a more accessible environment for people to enjoy it. I think that's going to keep going. I think it's going to become more and more accessible. I think picnic or day parties, all these things are very important in that progression, to create that accessibility, to make it less of a taboo late night experience.
But with that, do you think that that's the evolution of how it goes, and it's going to reboot and it's going to start back? Or do you think that this is, example, the 7,000 coming front right-ish that evolved throughout the years, and now there's a new group of front riders back day one that's starting, and now they're going through that journey? Or are they hopping on the train to where we already are?
I think they're hopping on the train. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think it's gonna be as cyclical as maybe some of us veteran ravers want, you know, or would have liked. I think one thing that obviously dictates this, especially in Quebec, is the laws. Throwing events that go past 3 a.m. is not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of logistics that go behind getting these things done, getting the permits, following specific rules. There's a lot of pressure, I would say, to have less of these events from the police. But at the end of the day, I think what people really want is to see their DJs for extended period of time and to be able to dance, you know, longer. So that's kind of the motivating factor for why these events still exist. Because we're not Europe and we don't have alcohol until 6 in the morning, it creates a lot of rules that made these types of events less accessible before. And more difficult to organize and more risky. You could apply for your liquor permit for an event 3 months in advance. There's almost a 90% chance you're going to get it within 2 days. So that's kind
2 days of the event.
2 days of the event.
Wow.
So that's the one of the realities that people aren't so aware of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the back end stuff. See, people see the final product when they walk in, they pay the ticket, and then they cast their judgment, which I guess that's a human thing. Crazy party, not crazy, good sound, bad sound, this, that, blah, 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 which is fine, but they don't see the hard work and effort that goes from point A to it being a thought in your mind to actually delivering, and how much energy it's sucked out of your soul. And it's like, it's crazy that.
It's a passion project.
Yes, yes. 1,000,000%.
It's not about anything except for passion and about seeing a dance floor full of people sweating it out, smiling and being into that zone. That's why we do this.
With all the events you've thrown over the years and all the names you brought, can you remember one of them that was kind of sticking out as your not favorite but really top event?
I think it's a tough one because each event has their own unique, special quality. I would definitely say though, Loco Dice party that we did.
Yeah.
At Entrepôt Dominion for the 5-year anniversary with SXM and Loud and Clear was one of the most special events I've organized to date. Just because we were trying to ensure the most premium experience, best sound system, best lights. Venue is beautiful and super well run and proper. So overall, we had a great security team. We had we were well structured for a proper party.
Yeah.
And so that kind of became my benchmark.
Yes.
For what I need to surpass now on every event that I try to do.
Yeah.
So that's I guess that would be that at the time that was the magnum opus.
Right.
But there's tons and tons and tons of room to get better and to grow and to do better parties for sure.
Yeah, very cool. And let's say you have an upcoming young group or person, a promoter that wants to start now. What would you offer them as a tip in this day and age? Because there's a lot of social media promoters who only rely on the fact that they've invited their friends through Facebook or any other social media, and they go with a number based on the fact that someone might have just clicked like because they're trying to be nice, and it's not the reality.
I get it. So I think the biggest suggestion that I can make to anyone, really, not just promoters, but to anyone who's trying to start anything, is focus on creating a community that believes in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have a strong purpose and a strong product. I think promoters right now need to be because Montreal has tons of different things going on.
Yeah.
Promoters need to be innovative in what they're bringing to the table. They need to focus on not necessarily always doing what they personally like, but what they're going to be able to attract a community of people to liking.
Yeah.
And then they need to focus on educating if what they're trying to promote is not mainstream enough for those people to come. A 100-person event, if that's your goal, can be a success.
Yeah.
A 500-person event can be a success. It really depends what you're trying to do. What's important is that the people who are there are invested and understanding and educated in what you're trying to get them to enjoy.
Yeah.
So you could grow. And I think there's been an industrial techno movement in Montreal. A lot of people working on bringing cool industrial techno.
Yeah. And
promoters like Octave, Exposé Noir, have set goals out to deliver a specific experience for a specific community, and that's what makes it work.
Yeah. I think I would say to add to that is maybe to have a clear vision and focus as to what you want. Like, why are you promoting?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I think tomorrow there might be a promoter that's gonna wake up and say, you know what, I like DJs, I like electronic music, like I should throw parties, I'll make a bunch of money, you know, like maybe they don't know the reality of it, they don't know the risk of it.
Yeah.
A lot of what makes promoting events and booking DJs unique is that it's very important that you understand the market in which you're bringing these artists to.
Right.
What people are going to be willing to pay for what, and assessing that, because I think a lot of people think that this is going to be an easy cash grab kind of thing, and they fail pretty quickly because they don't have there's no soul.
No.
There's no soul to what they're doing. There's no purpose.
Yeah. Usually when you chase the money, you don't end up getting it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it happen. There's tons and tons of promoters that have come and gone, in all styles.
Yeah.
Since I was, since I started till now, I myself have been through incredible ups and incredible downs.
Yeah. But I would just add to that, I feel from knowing you that the fact of the matter is you're in it for the long game and you're doing it out of passion. Therefore, you can overcome the downs a lot easier because you know your long-term game.
100%.
Whereas these other people, they're like, oh, it gets a bit hard or they lose a bit of money, we're out.
Well, for sure, because they also don't see. A lot of people, they no longer see or feel the success. They don't have people behind them supporting them. If there's certain promoters that in Montreal right now that if they stopped doing what they were doing, there would be a lot of people that would be frustrated and saddened by the service that they're no longer providing to them.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that community behind it, well, then it's very easy to quit.
Because, yeah, of course.
Because if you're not seeing successful, fun events, and if you're not seeing profitability or any sort of business that could come out of this, then really it's
easy to fall off because you're holding a couple of ropes, whereas you, I would say, or other people like you, driven by it, you're holding a humongous amount of ropes or thicker ropes or whatever it might be that's going to keep you in it. So if it does get a bit tough, you're good.
I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't came to moments where I felt like I think I've come in the last year or so the closest I've ever been to feeling like I was going to quit.
Yeah.
But I think it only takes about 5 minutes into the party for me to go, when's the next one?
Yeah.
When am I going to start planning the next party? It's a drug to be able to organize these cool events. You feel alive to be able to help people feel alive and make people experience these immersive events. There's some moments in the last couple of years where I've had really, really big lows with regards to issues with my events, all kinds of different things that made me feel like, maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I'm making, mistakes. How can I improve? How can I make this better? Is Montreal ready for what I feel like doing? All these questions that come up. And some people, they get frustrated and they quit.
Yeah.
Instead, I've just worked and adjusted my model.
Yes.
And it took time, it took almost 3 years of trying to refine this model and to find some sort of balance, life balance as well as a person.
Of course, yeah.
But it's worth it.
Nice. I love that. All right. Let me ask you this. What would be something that really has your interest right now? Could be in the music scene or could be anything from iPhones to lamps to restaurants to backpacks. I have no idea. Something that really has been...
Well, I manage a bar called Now Bar in the Old Port.
Very cool.
It's very special place with great cocktails. And so since I've been working there, I've been pretty into mixology, you know, looking at different combinations of alcohols and syrups and things like that. That definitely interests me. I'm a very creative person, so any sort of moment I get to have a creative outlet, I take advantage of. Other than that, I would say probably different ways that I could innovate creatively within my events. Live performance is something that I really like to integrate into my events moving forward. I haven't had the resources as of yet to make it happen, but or the right settings. But we did it. We had a party in October where we had 2 live performers, dancers.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it really added value to the experience. That was courtesy of AVX Lab, who brought that concept forward, and it's fantastic. So that really interests me. It's been something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and I think it's time now that I do the little things to fill up the room, make the room a little bit special, increase the experience.
It's like making a sauce, a pasta sauce. When you make your sauce, you're going to keep tasting and adding the spices till you get, if you're not copying your grandmother's recipe,
for sure,
you're adding to your own thing, and then and even like, you'll see the difference when you're like, you take that spoonful and you're like, yes, I like where this is going.
And I think making one big pasta sauce every couple months, you're going to make a much more delicious sauce.
Then rush mass.
And I wouldn't say it was a mistake, but I did a lot of events. At one point, I was doing a lot of quantity and less quality, I would say. A lot of club shows, for instance. It was fun. It was a good experience. But what I was lacking was that excitement that I get from the creative outlet of doing something special. So that's my focus right now. A bit less events, a bit more quality, a bit more special, unique experiences.
I agree with that. So at the end of every show, I like to do like a rapid fire, quick question, quick answer kind of thing. So let's start off with, what would be your favorite sport?
Hockey or soccer. It's a very tight tie.
Okay, cool. Pineapple.
Hockey.
Okay. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Pineapple on pizza.
Wow, man, between you and Adam, it's nuts. Okay, so
Adam likes pineapple on pizza as well.
He said maybe. Yeah. So we don't know.
No. For me, it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
I like to piss people off about it. I like to order. I like to go out of my way to order it in front of people that don't like it. I understand the core concepts as to why it shouldn't be on pizza.
Right.
But I have a sweet tooth, so I put sugar on anything.
What do you prefer, winter or summer?
Summer, but I'm happy when it's over.
Right. Because that's your crazy season.
Well, it's not so much that. I just don't think as a people in Montreal we're ready for summer all year round. We summer for us is like a sprint.
Yeah, man.
We're trying to party as much as we can. I think by the beginning of September, people are tired. They're more susceptible to like party related injuries and just
colds and sick
not being. I think we're like if we had a longer summer here, it wouldn't be healthy for our people.
It gives you the break to recharge.
But I'm all for the idea of eventually not having to spend any time in the cold here. Maybe going somewhere else to relax.
Agree.
But if it was summer all year round here, maybe the party wouldn't end, and I think that's not the best thing for for Montreal.
Okay, very cool. Let's just end the show by telling them where they can find you on all the socials and what you have coming up.
That's a good question. I have a lot of things coming up. In March, we'll be celebrating 6 years of Front Right, so I have a very special show that I'm going to be announcing in March at the SAT. And looking at some possibilities for February, possibilities for April, nothing confirmed yet, and a big possibility for a special event in May. Working very closely with AIM Festival as well.
Nice.
which I think will be very special again this year for the 5th anniversary.
What's the date again of that?
It'll be the second weekend of July, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, very cool.
I believe those are the dates. Yeah.
And where do they find you if they want to follow your journey or your?
Best thing to do would be to go on the Front Right Facebook page.
Yep.
As well as the Front Right community group. You could type it in FRONTRITE, and you could find the group and the page. Make sure to like the page and join the group. If you join the group, there's some questions to answer. Think about your responses and answer. We're very welcoming. Just need to make sure that there's a high quality of the right people in the group so that we can keep this thing going. You know?
Yes, sir. Well, it was a pleasure, brother. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And everybody, have yourselves a safe weekend, and I'll see you on the other side.